Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thought I would take a couple minutes here. This is not a scripted video. I just thought I'd take a couple minutes and go around and kind of evaluate my own account, similar to how I would do with somebody else's account. I already know the issues. I already know some of my limitations and the problems I have with my account. But I thought going through that and kind of giving my self-feedback might help some other people kind of evaluate their own accounts and kind of see where they need to go. So let's do that. And of course, you guys need to know a little background too about this. I'm completely free to play. I have spent money in the past, but this is an old account. It's, I don't know, as old as Evony. I think I started playing about 2 weeks after the game was released many, many years ago. And that's why you see VIP 15. It's not because I spent a lot of money to get there. You just have the everyday accumulation of points. You get 640 VIP points. And I've logged in every single day with the exception of one weekend. I think I missed a day and it reset and I had to get back up. So that's really largely just the accumulation of points over many, many years. It's not spending. In total, I think in the early Evony, I spent maybe about 250 US dollars. And that was back when it was Keep 25. So there was not a lot of value in those purchases. I bought stupid things like, I believe I purchased this, for example. There was not a whole lot into the packages. It's not like you get Civ gear and what you get these days for spending a lot of money. You don't get a lot. You didn't get a lot back then. So those $250, $300 are probably equivalent to like 15 bucks today in terms of packages. So keep that in mind. This account is free to play. It's going to be very limited in that respect. I do have pretty high activity. I play quite a bit. And you know, that's a large part of what has gotten me to where I am now. I'm at Keep 39. I was close to 40. I was going to hit it this weekend, but didn't quite have enough wood. So I had to put on some other buildings instead. So that's where I'm sitting at in terms of the account. I'm in a very active alliance, but my server is quite dead and it has been needing a server merge for like the last 3 years, and we keep getting shafted, I think, because there's a couple high spenders on the server, but you know, that's the unfortunate nature of these old servers. They're constantly in a state of decay, and there's no fix for that. But nevertheless, our alliance is fantastic. We've got a lot of great people, and we do fairly well in battlefields. And we used to be a very top-end alliance. Now we're good. I wouldn't say we're comparable to some of the top ones anymore, but we're decent. We're decent. Okay. Let's say, okay, so we've got a little history of this account because not everybody on this channel has been here for as long as I've been playing, so you don't necessarily know that history. Anyway, let's go take a look at stuff in general. We'll start with troops. Oh, I almost dismissed my troops. Whoops. All right, so I've got close to 300 million troops. A lot of that will be T1 layers, and my T1 layers are not that strong. I haven't built a lot of troops since Keep 40 released, which is like, holy crap, what is it, like 8 months ago now? 7 months? I don't even remember when it was. It was early December, late November, so yeah, we're getting close to like 6 months, I guess. Half a year. So I haven't done anything in terms of troops in half a year. So this is where I was sitting at 6 months ago. Pretty much all of this, okay? All my resources have gone to buildings, which is difficult. But it also means I have weaker troops than I would through natural growth because I've had to devote it to buildings. And I've got limited resource gain, so it's not that great. So some of the glaring issues that I see with my account and that I experience with my account, my ground for my size and my development is fine. Like I've got a lot of ground. I've got a fair bit of archers. Those are stronger points here. My cavalry is okay. I don't really want to build it up more than that. I've got enough for rallies. Anything else might be excessive. but my siege is terrible. I have very low siege. I was stone starved for a very long time. So my T14 siege is just at 2 million. I've got T13, which is a little bit better at 4. But what I really need to build up are my 12s and 11s. So I've only got 1 million 12 and 5.5 million 11s. And that means I can't really dedicate a full march for my siege. I can only do partial marches, and that's because I'll run out in like 1 or 2 hits if I use full siege. So I need to develop this higher, and also definitely my 14s and a little bit of 13s, so that I have more slinging power. Like even down here, like look at the 10s, it's below 1 million. Those are just layers, basic layers. I need to build those up. One other issue that I have is I've got some tier 1, but it's just not enough. Like I need a lot more than this. So I need to beef this up quite a bit on the lower end to help defensively. But realistically, against like a 40 plus million rally, it's not gonna help, because my generals and my buffs are not really at the same level as the people that are attacking. But you know, it's an easy enough thing to do. So after I finish my buildings, I'll probably work on that a bit, or a little bit in between. That's where I am in terms of troops. So troops aren't bad. My troops are not terrible. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of cases of similar players, similar size players that have worse troops. And, you know, it's okay. My real weakness here is because I'm free to play, I have very few pieces of equipment that are going to allow me to excel in this game. Let's go through. I've got some Plantagenet, and that's mostly from the early Tyche's Wheel when we could get those. Now that Tyche's Wheel is fading away, that is gone, so I'm losing that option. And it had, realistically, Tyche's Wheel was nerfed and hasn't been around for a while, so this is what I got early, and it hasn't really developed past that. So I've got 4 pieces of this, no freedom, and yeah, like, do I even have another piece of another set? I thought I had 1 piece of something. Apparently not. So all I've got is the 4 basic pieces of Plantagenet. That's it. So that really is difficult in terms of gearing up my generals. Especially when I'm trying to, for example, get my victory column up. I've got it up to level 1 because I needed it, obviously. But if I wanted to get to level 2, I simply can't achieve that. I mean, that seems like a low threshold. 5.8 million. I have to have 6 of them. That's easily obtainable if you have civilization gear, which I do not. So I've got enough for 3 to be there, and a 4th pretty close, but still, that's nowhere near where a player should be, except if you're free to play, which is unfortunate. Let's look at my generals. Here's another weakness. I'm going to toggle this off. All right, so we'll look at my military first, okay? And there's a couple things that I can fix, a couple things that I can definitely do better. And to be honest, like, everything in my account has really been stale in the last 6 months because I foresaw all this happening with the Keep 40 release and the greed that came through with the developers. And, I saw that coming, and it kind of killed my interest in trying to get better and better when I knew that it wouldn't have a big dent unless I spent a lot of money, which I wasn't willing to do. So I kind of laid off of Evony for a while, and I haven't really upgraded my account. I mean, you guys saw my Blazons video not too long ago. I could have definitely worked on my Blazons earlier than I did, but I saved it because I'm like, well, at least if I know that it's not going to make that big of an impact in the game, I'll turn them into videos. And so that's why you see that none of my generals have been ascended at all. And that is a huge limitation. And I'm waiting for the next time the Ascension event comes around, the whatever it's called, Knights of whatever the crap it is. It's not on right now, is it? No, they just have the Tyches. All right, so I'm waiting for that to come around, and then I'll probably do some Ascension videos, and I'll get those done. But I'm also kind of glad that I waited, because if I had done it instinctively early and just, started ascending right away, let's look down on my list here, who I was preparing to ascend back when things were just getting released, and all the analysis of generals didn't really come out. I was hoping that I would get a few done. Let's take, not Neros, those are ancient. Okay. Down. All right. Okay, here we go. So I've got a lot of Trajans. I was like, okay, when he gets ascended, when he goes from being a normal general to getting his ascension, surely he'll still be pretty good. So I've got all these Trajans that I'm like, okay, I'm going to be ready to ascend him. And it turned out he was absolutely awful. So I'm glad I didn't ascend him, because he is nowhere near where a general should be in terms of ascension buffs. I've got a few Ulysses S. Grant, and I'll probably use those. That was going to be my option for Siege, and I'll talk about that later. I've got a lot of Martys, and I've got Minamotos. Now, Martinez is not terrible, but there are other options. If you watched my free-to-play mounted PvP video, there are other options that are superior that I'm going to go with, like Roland, I think. So now I got to go and gather some Roland copies so that I can ascend him. I've got Minamoto. That was the other one I was going to work on, because it's incredibly hard to, as a free-to-play, to work on specialties. Like, it's very limited. I'm not even finished my Minamoto. And now it turns out that he's not quite as useful as he used to be. He got the shaft as well when it came to Ascension, so he's not strong enough. I don't want to ascend him, so I need to switch. He used to be on par with Electra back before Ascension. They were very comparable. Electra was a little bit stronger, but Minamoto had the versatility of being able to use defensively, so I liked that. And I was like, okay, well, as long as things stay roughly the same, I'm going to stay with Minamoto, because I can use him to reinforce, and, I have that option. But unfortunately, his ascension is terrible. So I cannot ascend him. I mean, the Blood of Ares are pretty limited, so I'm stuck. I have one general that has specialties almost complete, and I don't have runestones to do anymore, but I can't ascend him because he's awful. So I'm stuck using him right now in PvP because he's what I got. But when I'm looking at Ascension, it'll probably be with Electra. And so that's kind of where I was at. I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't ascend, because I would have made the wrong choices at the time. I didn't know they were the wrong choices at the time, but they would have been, looking back now at those options, they would have been the wrong choices. So let's see where I'm gonna take a look at some of my presets here, and I'll just show you where I'm at with my PvP marches, because those are pretty darn important. And it's very disappointing. Like, it's not good at all. All right. So my archers, I've got Minamoto as my main. And his gear is, let's click on him. I thought I could click from here. Apparently not. His gear is okay, but civilization is very limited, so I'm stuck with the pre-keep 40 stuff for the most part. And I've got Charles, who is great as an assistant general here. If I had more copies of Charles, I'd probably have him in as the main and then have somebody else as a second. I mean, I could even put Minamoto as a second if I had more copies of Charles, and I can probably do that. That is an option if I can manage to get some tokens and get lucky. Who knows? Otherwise, I'm going to be using Electra. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go with that yet. For my ground march, I've got Trajan as the main, and he's, like I said, his equipment is subpar because I don't have civilization gear, so it's a huge disadvantage there. And I don't have a good assistant. I mean, I've got Oda, who's got some ground attack, but I really don't have anything decent to put on this assistant for now. So not good. For my cavalry, I've got Martinez, who's okay, not great. Hannibal's even superior when ascended than Martinez is, but my Martinez is currently set up, so I'm just leaving it there. But that's going to get changed to Roland, and I don't know who I'm going to use as an assistant. I haven't decided quite yet. This is my shame. This is my ultimate shame. Not only do I have terrible, terrible siege counts, I have terrible generals. And I haven't really, to be honest, worked on getting any better generals, because I know that even if I get a strong general and I outfit him really well, it won't matter because I just don't have the troops to do it. So my focus is not here. I've just really got this set up so I can support rallies. I don't expect to do a whole lot in them other than provide some support. So that's what I've got for siege. All right. So what is my plan? What is my plan? Well, I'm finding it very difficult here due to my limitation of dragons. I've got 4 dragons. I've got Fafnir, and I've got the demon. All right, so currently this one's being used on Minamoto, and my Fafnir is being used on Martinez because Martinez and Minamoto both require a dragon to be fully effective. And over here, I've got 2 more dragons. I've got Norway Ridge, who's on my Trajan for ground, and I've got the Dragon of Thebes, who is on my wall with George Dewey. So my issue is if I switch my Minamoto for Electra, it's going to need that dragon. If I switch my Martinez for Roland, I can remove a dragon. But then if I move my Guangeto to Ulysses, it's going to require a dragon. And that's really the only formatting of these generals that I can see that is viable. Like if I leave my Martinez there, I have no dragon to use for Ulysses, and Ulysses is my really only option for siege. So I'm kind of stuck there, and that was part of my my little mini rant in the other video where I'm like, these generals that require a dragon, they should require a dragon or a spirit beast, because there's just not enough dragons to go around. Like, I have more dragons than most players, and I don't even have very many. So many of them are locked behind all-stars and all that. So there's only so many to go around. So actually changing that skill to allow both spirit beasts and dragons to allow that skill to be used would open the playing field for a lot of these generals that are semi-valuable for free-to-play players or even non-free-to-play players, but you can't use them because you don't have the dragons. I'd really still like to see that change, but we're limited with what we have today. So today, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that my best option is to drop the Minamoto, change it to Electra, or possibly Charles. If I don't have much in terms of Ascension anyway, I might as well just switch to Charles. What's the difference? I'll lose some. I'd have to evaluate to see whether the loss of these is going to be brought up by like ascending Charles once. Because I think I have an extra copy of Charles. I might be able to get him to the next step. So will that and the superior bonus on Charles be enough? I don't know. Otherwise, it's going to look like Electra. And for my Trajan is just awful. But I'm glad I didn't work on his specialty too much, because I can easily drop him and replace him with somebody else. I don't really have an option though, and that's a difficulty there. So don't really have a good option to switch him for. That's one of the ones I'd really like to switch out. This guy needs to move. He needs to make way for Ulysses or somebody else to come into the picture, because he's got no specialty. I don't need him. He's not great. He's just a general I picked up in the tavern when we were making siege rallies a year ago, and I just haven't changed him because my siege sucks. But when I do start working on my siege, I'm going to want something. And my last guy there, my Martinez has got to change to Roland, but I think I've only got one copy of Roland, so I don't know when that switch is going to happen, but it needs to happen. Now, in terms of Wall General, where am I at with Wall General? I feel like my Wall General, considering my limitations with gear and runestones, my guy's not bad. Like, he's not bad at all. I've got a decent dragon on him. He's fully specialized. He's a good Wall General. His buffs and like the stuff that I put on him, it's not bad at all. Like, it could always be better. I mean, I need changes in my gear. I need some Civ gear to modify some of this, but it's not terrible at all. So I'm happy enough with George Dewey. I've got as assistant on the wall, I've got Oda, who is, I saw Oda down here somewhere. There you are. Oda Oichi. Haven't worked on her specialty at all. But she's got a nice little boost to in-city troop attack, 15%, in-city ground troop HP by 30%. So, just that skill book alone is a superior choice to a lot of the other options that I have. Before her, I was using Raged King, who is not great, but troop attack by 10% when leading the army. So all my troops got 10%. But I mean, just in comparison between this and this, I mean, I've got 5% more plus an extra 30 HP on my ground. So superior there, definitely. And, this is another side issue. Don't you feel like generals like Raged King, who are so difficult to get and like exclusive, shouldn't these guys be stronger? I mean, don't you think that some of these generals from the past, like exclusive ones like Rage King, who can only be obtained in the Wheel of Fortune when you get lucky, don't you feel like it should be an exclusive skill as well? Like 10% increase of troop attack is just pitiful. Like, he should be somebody that is one of the top in at least some of the categories. Excuse me. I don't know, just because of the exclusive nature of this general. All right. Enough talk about generals. What else can we look at? We can look at buildings. So I'm at 39. I've got my walls. So I've got all the prerequisites. I've got my military academy 4. All I'm waiting on here, I should have enough food in boxes, no problem. And I probably have, I don't know, like 10, 15 billion more wood in boxes at this point. So I need to get the last 20, 30 billion wood within the next month if I'm going to hit keep 40. And then that'll be a big weight off the shoulders. I can start focusing on other things. I've started working on things like my barracks, bringing that up, and my stables, so that I can possibly make some tier 15 eventually, like 10 years down the road. What else? My archer camp is lagging behind, still at 35. Same with the workshop. I think it's still 35. Yeah, 35. So, I'm making some progress in buildings, but it's just so expensive. All these things are just, they cost so much. Like when I want to go upgrade this next, right after I finish the castle, there's another 20 billion of each. And, there's other buildings that I'm going to have to do. So even when I finish the keep, it's still going to be quite a bit before I can really start pumping out troops. And there are people that are tens of billions already, 5.7 billion. I'm a small guy. And I know a lot of you guys are smaller than that, but this is a 6-year-old account. All right. My technology research, like I could finish this off anytime. I haven't really bothered because a lot of what's left isn't really going to benefit me, like range troop training, siege, like it just adds a few more to the training capacity. It doesn't really impact anything, and I'd rather use gold for other things. But everything that I need, I have in the academy. My military academy, on the other hand, same thing, limitations. It's not that great. Like I'm working my way down, but there's always the limitation of, what do you call it? The tactics rolls. So I'm now on to the level 3 research and stuff, but well, it looks like I can do a bit more, but it goes away fast. Like, you don't get too far in these things without needing more and more scrolls. So it's going to be a long time before I finish these, which is okay. I don't mind having something to work forward on. Oh, look, my ranged is a lot better off. That one's much further down. Yeah, I'm on the level 4 stuff. Good. My siege is behind, I believe. And that's okay too, because siege is not my strong suit, but where are we? Yep, it's still level 3. So most of my stuff is the level 3 military academy. It's working its way. I'm making progress. My dragons, let's take a look at those. They are nothing great. This is my better dragon. He's only level 11. For some reason, I feed him, and he just doesn't get good rolls. So he's behind. I assume this dragon is a he. I don't know why I'm making that assumption. But he or she, the Dragon of Thebes, is lagging behind my other ones. So it's only level 11. But the talents are a little better off. We got 40 and 40. My Norway Ridge, on the other hand, 28 and 6. Same, the limitation with the Dragonstones. Let's do that. Okay, 29 and 6. I spoke too soon. My Fafnir and my Demon are, I don't think I've worked on them at all. 13 and 13. So in terms of level, they're doing fine. But 0. Oh, okay, I did do a bit here. Look at that. I didn't even know. 30 and 0. My treasures. Everything is level 1. And I don't know how far, honestly, I have to go to level 2. At this point of, getting more and more, I should be getting closer, but, oh, why did I do that? I meant to click upgrade. I want to put it back to this guy. Okay, let's click upgrade. Take a look. Oh, yeah, I got a long way to go. 277 out of 650. I mean, there are people that are at like level 4, level 3, and I just got to do the slow approach. Oh, maybe we'll get a Charles. No, we can't get a Charles from the Great General Trust. What's something that I want that'll be useful here? Nothing. I'd like a Roland, just because it'll save me some time. Maybe one of the duty officers. Oh, I'd like a Dewey. If I can get a Dewey, then I can do some ascension on Dewey later. All right, let's see. What are we going to get? Absolutely nothing? Absolutely nothing. Arminius and Banchao. Okay. All right, moving on. What can we talk about next? All right, so we've evaluated my terrible generals, my moderately okay troops, my moderately okay buildings, my terrible civilization gear, my terrible treasures, my moderate to terrible dragons. What's left? What can we look at? Not a whole lot to look at beyond that. Oh, my subs. Of course, my subs. Not something that I've worked on a lot. Whenever there's PvP rallies and stuff going on my server, I'm not a person that's heavily into those, into stealing subs. So a lot of these have just been through acquiring early, and I never let my bubble drop, so I haven't lost a sub. So I've got a few Russias that are okay. I've got my China and more Russias, a lot of blues, and that's about it. I wish I had some Japans, but with the competitive nature that this server used to be, getting Russias was hard enough. Getting the Japans, not likely. These days, with the historic city searching, I could probably get some stuff, but I'm always trying for the better ones because, hey, you never know. But I'm not very lucky. All right, Art Hall. Let's take a look. Art treasures. Ooh, I can upgrade this guy. And what does that one do? In-city stuff. Sure, let's do it. Upgrade. Cool. All right. There, we've just improved plus 5% on the in-city stuff. Nice. Okay. So I think most of my stuff is level 2, which is not great, but it's not terrible. Yeah, and then these ones I don't have because the requirements for them are not things that I am capable of getting. Invincible Ares, yeah. Invincible Ares, and that one's the Wonder one, I believe. Well, let me check out Invincible Ares because some generals have moved around. I forget what used to be required here. Napoleon, and can't get him in Tavern yet, so no Napoleon for me. No, that would be a nice one to get in one of the random tokens that I have. I've got a couple of random tokens. Got 4 of these and 1 of these. If I got a Napoleon, it's not a general that I'd probably use long term. I might use him as an assistant for my siege eventually, or because I just can't get more copies to ascend. But more so than that, I would like to get him just to get that unlocked so that I could get those 2. Where are they? Those 2 art treasures that I'm missing. No, not this one. This one, which provides all troop attack 10 and -10. That'd be great. And the other one, where are you? Here. Yeah, Marching Siege would help my siege. So those would be nice to get. I mean, even if I don't get a general that I'm going to necessarily use, just to unlock that would give me some buffs. That would be very nice to have. Okay, what else? Sub-generals I could talk about too. They're nothing great. They're mostly the free-to-play stuff. I don't think I have anything premium at all. Yeah, I got some Sixties, Jackson, and Arminius. Nothing great. Duty officers. That's something I didn't. Something I didn't talk about. My duty officers, all the free-to-play stuff. I've got like Guan Riul, who gives you siege attack, defense, and HP, and some training speed. These are the ones that you can largely get in the tavern. John the First, same thing, but for ranged. Oleg for stables. I was so excited when duty officers first came out because Oleg was, I want to say, the very first or one of the very first ones that was the daily, you get 1 token every day for 30 days. And he was one of the first ones. And then there was Shajar. And that was awesome. That was awesome. I was so excited to get him because you couldn't get him in the tavern at that point. So it was like, oh, I'm getting these great generals. I got Shajar. I've got Oleg. What's next? And then since then, it's just been garbage. It's just been garbage stuff in that daily. I think they must have been like, oh, we're giving all these free-to-play players too much stuff. Now they can make like 10% more resources in city. And they get plus 5% attack, defense, and HP to mounted troops, like all the other people. So we got to stop that now. Toyotomi for that march size increase, Skanderbeg for the hospital, research speed from Yulji. Banchao gives you archer attack. Yeah. In-city ranged archer attack. Oh, and mounted too. Mounted attack. Oh, no, reduces mounted attack. What am I saying? This is for siege attack and repairing, which I never do. This is for ground. And of course, the construction. Some of them are not, another thing I should do is probably cultivate some of these guys and level them up so that I can put them on as like supers or specials at least. Like Menshikov is level 22, which means that when I put him on the duty officer, he's just a junior. So I only get 5%. It's still better than a special or a super. Well, I can't do super, but a special of some other guy, because for the special you get 25% construction speed, but he gives me as a junior 5% plus his skill gives me another 20. So yeah, it's not any different. But if I do level him up, then it'll increase quite a bit. So when I'm about to queue that keep 40, I definitely need to get this guy done to just knock off some time. But speed ups aren't my problem anyway. All right, so that's my duty officers. You'll notice that none of them are ascended because I have nothing ascended. So when I go do the ascension, these are going to be some of my first ones that I'm going to ascend. And it doesn't seem like that should be the priority for people that are thinking just, military. Let's ascend that Roland. Let's ascend the George Dewey and the, I don't know, whoever else I'm going to use. Yeah, and you're right. Like, those are good. I definitely want to ascend these as well. Like, George Dewey is going to give me in-city mounted troop defense by 35% and HP by 20%. Cool. That's great. I like that. And my Roland will give me marching mounted attack by 15%. Those are great. But it's fairly easy to upgrade these guys to 1 star as well. And look at what I get from just 1 star. In-city ranged troop and siege defense by 15% and HP by 15%. It's going to be the same across most, right? Ranged and siege, defense and HP. My Oleg is going to give me ground and mounted. And, so you get so much by just 1 starring so many of these generals. And because a lot of them are available in the tavern, it's an easy task to do so. It really is. So that's going to be one of my priorities. I'll definitely get these important generals that I know I'm going to ascend. Like, I'm going to keep my George Dewey for sure. So I will ascend him 1 star. But I'll get him 1 star, and then I'll immediately go over here and work on these guys. Or maybe I'll even do these ones first. I don't know. Whichever provides me the most bonuses. Like, what was that? In-city defense 15% for all troops. That might be superior to the George Dewey one. What does this guy do? Ground, yeah. Mounted. So I'm going to look for opportunities to ascend these guys because they're fairly easy to do so when you can get them from the tavern. But I'll be limited to whatever blood I have, which I don't think is a whole lot. Even though I haven't spent anything. Like, I haven't done any. All I've got is 1,700. That's not going to go too far. Oh, okay. That's a lot of talking so far. So really, the only way that I can, like, I know the things I can do. I know the things that are my limitation. My limitation is, number 1, my spending. I don't spend on this game, so I'm limited in my gear. And that's a huge drawback. And a good segue to the sponsor of this video. So if you are a spender, and you do spend, I highly encourage you to use the Amazon App Store because you can get really big discounts on your spending and it's all legit. You don't have to do any shady backdoor stuff. It's straight discounts that you will get by purchasing Amazon coins through the links that are provided in the description for the video description. Just click there, go there, buy coins, get immediate discounts depending on how much you purchase, and save your money in this game. Okay, sponsor spiel over. Now, I'm limited by not spending money, and that is a huge limitation in this game, more so than ever before. Since the Keep 40 release, if you're not spending this game, you're at a huge disadvantage. It doesn't mean you can't have fun. I still have fun doing battlefields with my alliance, but really I have fun because there are some people that are spending quite a bit in my alliance, and they're really carrying the rest of us. We're just fodder to help them make more points. In a battlefield, I score less points now than I did pre-Keep 40. Back at Keep 35, I was scoring triple the amount of points, minimum, than I actually earn these days, because the rally sizes are just so big and troop counts are so big and everybody's gear is so far above my own because I don't spend. But I still have fun to a degree. What else? I know with my limitations, I'm not going to be expecting to do a whole lot. And that's just the way it is. Free to play, you're not going to get far in this game. So with that in mind, what do I want to accomplish? I want to score more points in battlefields. I don't care so much about world PvP. I never have, but I do enjoy battlefields. I do like working with my alliance and trying to overcome the enemies and do as many points as I can and be successful. And the only way I'm going to do that is by improving my troop counts, improving my defensibility, improving my generals, and improving my gear. Now, I can't change my gear, so I can work on my generals and I can work on my troops. And that's really where I'm at in terms of this account. So if I was to rate my account compared to other accounts of this age, let's see, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd be like a 6. I'm not strong. There are many, many weaker accounts than I am, but I'm nowhere near the top. I'm nowhere near a 9 or a 10. I'm nowhere even near an 8. And I'm maybe, depending with some work, I could be somewhere around a 7. But that's just the reality of the landscape of Evony these days. Now, before, back at Keep 35, I'd probably say I was an 8. Still not at the top, but it would take quite a few rallies to break through me. I could participate in offensive rallies and do a ton of damage, comparatively. It's just not the way that the game is these days. So that's what I would rate my account, and I hope that going through all of my flaws and all of the things that I need to work on has helped some people out there that are looking to evaluate their own, kind of see where they want to progress. So hopefully this video was useful. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like button and checking out other videos on the Miser's Guide to Evony. I'll see you in the next video.